You know?
Well, and here's the problem. The moment that Kira basically double crosses him, those dice stop being important. They should have killed Kira.
Yeah.
So that way the dice meant something in episode 8 when Luke, who's not really there, somehow magically transports the dice into Leia's hands.
Hey, my name is Brian, that is Shane, and this is the popcast, and today we're talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. Once again, I know, we can't let it go. A lot of people on YouTube right now cannot let go of the fact that Solo is bombing. But I'm going to tell you, we're here to explain why it's bombing and why it was unsuccessful. No, it wasn't the boycott. No, it wasn't that there's too many Star Wars movies. The simple reason is Disney thinks you're dumb.
Ooh. Come on, Disney.
Before we get into that, though, don't forget 3,200 sub milestone giveaway. Once we get 3,200 subs, we're going to be doing a giveaway where we give away the gaming console of your choice. So get down there and subscribe and comment if you haven't already done so. Also, this shirt is brought to you by the most douchiest shirt I can find on Mixed Tees, Vape Life.
We didn't want to give him a Solo shirt, huh?
No, this video does not deserve a Solo shirt.
Listen,
I love Han Solo.
There is a fantastic Emperor Mickey shirt. Go find it because that's the one that should be on here right now.
That is
Emperor Mickey.
You're actually very right. Yeah, go to mixtees.com, search Emperor Mickey. It's hilarious. Anyways, you can find all of this and more at mixtees.com using coupon code Shane or Brian for 30% off. That's a huge amount of savings, so get to it. Okay, now I have made up a list of reasons as to why, and by the way, I have not informed Shane of any of these topics or reasons or information. All he knows is the general title of this video is going to be Disney Thinks You're Dumb, hence Solo. That's obviously a working title. So the reason I didn't tell Shane about any of this stuff, because we're going to play a little game. I'm going to explain to you a point, Shane. I'm going to say, I have 6 reasons that Solo, 6 reasons why Disney thinks Star Wars fans are dumb, and Solo is a perfect example of those reasons. And then I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to act as if you are the writer or the Disney exec that approved the script changes and story in the overall movie at Disney. Can you do that for me, Shane?
Yeah, I thought you were setting me up somehow to make me look really funny. So, but no, I can do a Disney exec.
Okay,
sure, no problem.
Disney exec.
Let me see if I can get my
solo writer.
Let me see if I can get my thumb and shove it up my. Never mind. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're on the right path. All right. The number one reason why Disney thinks you are dumb and we are dumb.
Yes.
In regards to Solo, is the characters. These are. I'm going to list you a few characters here. Number 1, Lady Proxima. You know that big worm. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen Solo and you care about spoilers, save this video. Come back later when you have, because it's heavily spoilery right now.
It's spoilery. New word.
Right. All right. So the characters, not all characters, but these are the characters I found that they wrote with very little intention of ever expanding on. And so they think that we're dumb enough to be attached to a character that doesn't actually matter in any way. Number 1, Lady Proxima. Number 2, Val. Number 3, Rio Durant. You know, the guy that voiced by Favreau?
Yep, John.
Yep. Number 4, Dryden Voss, the bad guy. And the last one was Enfys Nest. Enfys Nest. Okay. All right. So let's just talk about the number 1 person here. Lady Proxima. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you, as a fan to the movie exec, What's your movie exec name? Can we call you like Ted or something?
Yeah, you call me Ted de Doucheman.
All right. Hey, Mr. Ted de Doucheman. I saw here in this in the script that you had this character that basically enslaves Han Solo at the beginning of the movie. Her name is Lady Proxima. I find her very fascinating. Can you tell me more about her backstory?
She's a worm, Brian.
Right.
She's a worm in the ground.
Right, but she runs a criminal empire, Shane. I mean, Ted.
Well, obviously, she spends a lot of time really considering what kind of criminal stuff she's going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we get any more backstory on this fascinating character?
I mean, what do you need to know? I mean, she's a worm and she's got a crime syndicate, and you just got to kind of believe us because we're the writers.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You just got to go with it. Just close your eyes and go with it.
Okay. All right. So, but she was written to be like a Jabba type character, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. And listen, I know a lot of people are giving us trouble about not using, having her speak common or English or whatever it is. Look, we were just afraid you didn't want to read the bottom of the screen. We know you guys get kind of lazy. So we just said, we'll just have her talk, I mean, they're smart,
I completely forgot about that. I didn't write that down, but you're right. A bunch of people get like subtitles, but like this fascinating character just talks English. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And honestly, I mean, and we had to make her extremely light sensitive because,
Right. So how does she run a criminal empire when she can't go outside?
Yeah, I don't know, man. She must have like a hole into everybody's home or something. I don't know.
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay, I got it. She's a weak character. We agree. We weren't sure what to do there. We had to have something.
Thank you for being honest. All right. So the next character.
I try.
Let's talk about Val. Val, if you don't remember, was Beckett's wife or girlfriend or love interest or whatever. Very strong-willed character. I felt that there was a lot of backstory and history there between her and Beckett and Rio Durant. Why didn't we experience that backstory?
Well, I mean, do you want the real story? Like what really happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what was going on, okay? As just before it started, we got really into like Westworld. And we were just totally like digging it, And we saw Tandy Newton on there. She was naked all the time.
Gotcha.
And we said, well, she's got really popular. Who doesn't want to see Tandy Newton? Let's just put her in the next Star Wars movie.
Gotcha.
And it totally worked. I mean, she worked, right?
No, she didn't. No.
Oh, you didn't find her like extraordinarily attractive and you kind of wondered what it would look like if she would take off her clothes again?
Yeah, no, I think that sometimes. But then I just turn on HBO. Problem solved.
Okay. You can't really have nudity in Star Wars. Like the whole Princess Leia thing didn't work out well. There's a lot of backflack about it.
Follow-up question to that question, Mr. Doucheman. Val and Rio Durant, both those characters who seem fascinating and have giant backstories, they also die. Apparently they've been working with Beckett for a very long time and they're very close. Why doesn't Beckett really respond when his seemingly family is snuffed out before his eyes? Where's the emotional distress in Beckett's eyes? Like, why did he seemingly feel nothing for these characters?
Well, he did, but you got to understand, the movie's not, we can only make a movie so long. So we had that little scene where he kind of was kneeling down, and remember Han came over and Chewie, and they're like, hey, Beckett, and he's like, get away from me or whatever. He had his moment there. And, you just got to kind of just believe us when we say, he was hurting inside. Gotcha. And, there wasn't a lot of time to show more than that.
Okay. All right. Last question.
Wait. And Jon Favreau. Look, honestly, the only reason he's in the movie is because, like, he's a director and he kind of demanded, so we just gave him, like, a voice part.
Gotcha. All right. Well, last question, Mr. Doucheman. What about Enfy's Nest? When they finally revealed that Enfy's Nest was seemingly a child, why did we go that direction? Why make her a child?
Honestly, I'm not even sure I should talk about this. I might get fired. There's just too many male characters in Star Wars, bro. There's too many. And listen. It just made more sense. Were you not shocked? Were you not shocked when she took the mask off and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a small little child girl?
You see, and like, let's break character real quick because that's a major part for me. Like, Shane, no, I wasn't shocked. I didn't I didn't care, right? Because I had no history with this character. Who is she why am I supposed to have an emotional involvement to this teenager that plays Empty's Nest? I don't get it.
They did it specifically because they thought by making the character it doesn't matter if it's male or female, honestly. There's a lot of, badass females fighters. Totally cool. The problem is they made it that way because they wanted you to have an emotional connection. They wanted to say, oh, you're going to trust her so much more when she takes off the mask because she's a small child woman. And now she's just trying to bring about the rebellion, and that's just not the way they set up the character at all. They were marauders. And it was very abrupt. It did not feel it didn't feel remotely smooth when they did it. And so she pulled it off and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what that is. It just wasn't believable.
I'm going to give you guys a little Top Gun reference. It was like nose diving into a 360 spin and coming up, shooting up out of the clouds. It was like, back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising.
Very jarring. It didn't affect me in a good way. It was like, oh, why would they make that choice?
Well, I think you say it perfectly when you say, what was the point? Like, why make us seem like it's a guy and then turn it into a girl? Why does there need to be this sort of pull the wool over your eyes? Why couldn't it have just been a female?
And what was the point?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What was the point? There was none. And so as doucheman, I would tell you, well, we're trying to hit the right demographics and, we're trying to bring in the right audience to Star Wars and bring it to a new generation.
Oh, and they want to sell more toys to girls. Okay, sure.
Possibly, yeah. That's a good one.
All right, number 2, and now that we're done with characters, number 2 on my list of the reason why Disney thinks that we're dumb when they released Solo, a Star Wars story, is the unnecessary information. Now we all know this is an origin story for Han Solo, right, Shane?
Yeah, I guess sort of.
Okay, so in an origin story, you go.
So I don't know who his parents are.
Right. Yeah, we're right. We don't. No, you know what we do know, Shane? We know how he got his last name.
Oh, let's not go there.
Well,
can we not do that?
Hey, guys.
I don't want to talk about that.
We know how Han Solo got his last name.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Shane, when you heard about this movie shooting, where you're like, oh man, I really hope we find out how Han got his last name, what's the deal with the dice, and how he got his blaster. Like, I want to know those 3 things particularly.
Well, we got the blaster anyways.
It's crazy. Like, if I asked you, and Mr. Music and Movie Executive, how does Han get his blaster? You'd be like, well, someone gave it to him. Oh, okay. Cool.
Why did we have to have a naming of Han Solo? Why couldn't his name just be Han Solo? And we're just like cool with that. Why did they have to have like a meaning of like, is Solo not a traditional Star Wars last name? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's so unnecessary though.
It didn't need to be explained.
A lot of unnecessary information. And the dice thing too. I now hate these dice. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there.
It was a small little thing that almost no one noticed in the original series, and they're making these dice out to be something special, and it's so transparent that you're trying to sell dice.
Well, it's just, there was no point to it.
You're trying to make you're trying to sell another lightsaber. You want every shelf to have Han Solo dice people can put in their cars.
Well, and here's the problem. The moment that Kira basically double crosses him, those dice stop being important. They should have killed Kira
Yeah.
So that way the dice meant something in episode 8 when Luke, when Luke, who's not really there, somehow magically transports the dice into Leia's hands.
Yeah.
You know, so if it's going to mean that much, if it's that much of a core part of who Han Solo is, then wouldn't it have been better if Kira had died and he had this great love lost? But no, it didn't really work out that way. She chose differently.
Right, and we're gonna get there because my number 4 thing on here is going to be lack of motivation. But
I'm glad we didn't talk about this in advance. I feel fresh.
Yeah, no, see, that's why I didn't want to judge you before. Okay, nice. All right. The number 3 reason why Disney thinks you're stupid in making Han Solo or making Solo a Star Wars travesty is plot devices. There were a lot of plot devices in this film.
Yes.
Okay, number 1. You might not have experienced this one yet, but Han's time in the Imperial Army. The 3 years he spent in the Imperial Army was for one purpose. To advance the story of Kira and to give a reason as to why she is no longer on Corellia. It took him 3 years. Take it 3 years to get on a different ship. He actually, like, in my thing, there are 3 years of time that we don't know about Han spending in the Imperial. I would have loved to watch that movie. Can we see the movie of him going through the... that seems like a much better story here.
Well, I'll tell you, I kind of like that part of the movie because what happened is Han's like talking to the guy who gave him his name, and he's like, "Well, how long will it take me to be a pilot?" And he's like, "Oh, we can make that happen pretty quick." And then you find out 3 years later he's basically an infantry grunt.
All right,
and that's a lot how the military really works.
It is. That's true.
Your recruiter tells you you're going to be able to do anything, and then you find out you're really just kind of a worthless piece of garbage in the military.
That's how I feel.
And you're not necessarily a worthless piece, but you start out at the mean bottom, and everything you were promised to you does not happen. So that was kind of a nice little, true. Oh yeah, Han got screwed like a lot of other of us kind of did.
Okay, I'll buy that.
I would like to see that 3 years. What did he do for all 3 years?
Missing 3 years, right?
He didn't look 3 years older either, by the way.
No, he didn't. Okay, this is a real important one. We finally got to find out. We finally got to see how Han and Chewie met. That's great. Chewie was locked in some kind of hole, and they were keeping him as a pet or something, right? And they threw Han down there to die. Side note, our beloved sentient Chewbacca apparently eats people. So that's a thing.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
The wonderful Chewbacca that I've grown up loving is a straight up human eating beast.
Monster.
Yeah. He's a monster.
Because they did say the last one went too fast or something, right?
Right.
He ate the last one too fast.
He eats human beings. So
yeah.
That's not scary whatsoever.
Disney.
Thanks, Disney. Well, but here's the most important part. Han knows Chewie's language.
A little, yeah. Okay. Well, he knew a little bit.
I mean, I need you to be Mr. Doucheman here for a minute, Shane.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Mr. Doucheman, how did Han know Chewie's language?
Well, what you didn't know is during the 3 years when he was a grunt in the army, he learned it. Yeah.
So no need to dedicate 7 seconds of time. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Moving on.
It was just easier. Brian, it was just easier, okay? Why go through all the subtitle thing again? It's just easier for Han to translate. Come on, just believe us on this one, all right?
Okay, Mr. Doucheman. All right, one more crew. One more question. I'm going to go back to this because I really need to. I need to have an answer for this.
What's that?
Beckett's crew. Beckett's family.
They're telling me I'm fired. I don't know. Hey, listen, I won't. Okay. Hey, you can ask me anything you want now. I'm off the hook. They just fired me.
Okay, Mr. Doucheman. When Beckett's crew dies, and I'm sorry to go back to this, but it's very important for me. When Beckett, played by Woody Harrelson, when his crew that he was very close with, when they die, was their deaths just a plot device to like move the story forward?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Kathleen Kennedy did it. Yeah. She said, kill all of them SOBs. Kill them. Okay. Kill them quick. Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm not. Hey, they fired me. I'm off the hook here. Yeah.
All right.
No, I mean, honestly, I think that I think that's the failure of the movie is I'm not sure why they killed those characters. I don't know what the point was. I mean, whether they lived or died, it didn't change the story other than Han now gets to fly, I guess. There was no point in killing him.
No.
Beckett didn't have enough of an emotional response to Val. It didn't change the way his character behaved afterwards. He wasn't any different of a character before than he was after, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So what was the point? And so then also killing off the little guy. His character could have grown on me.
Oh yeah,
kind of like a rocket raccoon.
Yeah, I agree.
But so killing him, I guess, just so Han could drive. Yeah, there was
the definition of a plot device, Shane.
I don't even know how it was a plot device. I mean, if we're being honest,
it's the simple. That's why it's because they think we're dumb. It's the simplest of plot devices. Hey,
yeah, like
this person's a pilot. Han wants to be a pilot. We need to kill that person.
Yeah, why couldn't he just be injured or sitting in the back and like, oh wow, Han's a better pilot. This is what he does now.
It's the most basic plot device possible, man. It's. I mean, at one point, you got to ask, why did they even have these characters at all?
Yeah, what was the point? They should have just had Beckett.
Yeah, it should have just been Beckett. Yeah, it should have just been Beckett.
I think.
Trying
Well,
to steal
it's like
shit.
I said before. It's so that Tandy Newton and Jon Favreau could have parts, basically in the movie. Honestly, I just think I have some star power. They added star power to the movie.
Okay, number 4 on this list: contradictions that we are supposed to accept, and the reason I will not accept these contradictions is because I'm not dumb. Number 1, contradiction. And the only one we need to talk about. There are a few here, but I'm only going to talk about one because it's the worst. It's the worst contradiction in the movie. Beckett and Han Solo, they lose the load to Enfys Nest. They go to Voss to make it right. And they pitch the idea of stealing the unrefined fuel from one of Voss's allies, right? People that he's in business with. Voss tells them, we can't do that. If it ever comes back to me, I'll have problems. Beckett says, they don't know we work for you. It'll never get back to you. And Voss is like, great idea. Take my second in command.
Okay.
And he sent his second command. They don't know we work for you. It'll never get back to you. Great idea, guys. Take my second in command along on the trip. Yeah.
That's actually a really good point.
I mean, she even has his tattoo on her wrist. She's very connected. It's like they're more than just second command. They're like lovers, and they're very out about it. You know, it's didn't she even say his name several times during the trip? I think she did. Yeah,
that is kind of a little weird.
Yes, and notice that Lando recognized her immediately with no questions asked.
Yeah, because he had done work for Voss.
Right. So that's an extreme contradiction. That disrupts the whole purpose as to why she was even there in the first place. So it's either lazy writing or they think that we're dumb. That's it. And I have a problem thinking it's lazy writing because the millions of dollars they pour into the scripts, they have to just assume that we are not smart enough to actually understand what's happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there was a lot of beef with the writer. You got to remember, there was a whole lot of beef for this because Jonathan Kasdan, Lawrence Kasdan's son, ended up finishing the script. And Lawrence Kasdan was basically hired to write Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and so he ends up writing this Solo story. So I mean, you've got somebody who's like has a long backstory with Star Wars writing the script for this story. So either the directors really screwed it up or something happened, because I know Lawrence Kasdan was complaining that the script wasn't being followed when the Lego movie guys were making the movie, when they were the directors. So I'm not sure what happened, but you're right. The script is very weak.
Okay. This is the worst of it. This is the part that really makes the script extremely weak, or they just assume they're writing for 6-year-olds. The complete lack of motivation. Now, I need you to understand, this is very important. And you play devil's advocate, please, Shane. Tell me if I'm wrong here. Han
You're wrong.
Joins the army to get off of Corellia and to get a ship to go back to rescue Kira. And then meets Kira on the job. Meets Kira while doing that job. So at what point are we supposed to just completely detach from the primary motivation of this character? He no longer has to do that job or steal a ship or any of that, because Kira is no longer on Corellia. She's right there. She's with him on the job. They gave us an emotional attachment and a motivation for a character, and then they promptly removed that before the conclusion of the story.
I got you here on this one, buddy. I got you. Okay. So here's the thing. You're right. His motivation did change. You got to remember, they had already tried to do the job before he met Kira. So they had done the job and failed, basically.
Right.
And that's when they returned to talk to the boss, because they failed the mission. Well, lo and behold, Solo's there. That is his mission, is to get back to find Kira.
Right.
Boom, there's Kira.
Okay.
What does Solo say? Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
And she says, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. So the thing is his motivation still is Kira. So the reason why he's even continuing this job is because she's part of it now. Right? Okay. So he's stuck because she's his motivation.
Okay.
So I don't think they really screwed that part up.
Okay. All right. I will buy that, Shane. I will buy that.
For $1?
No. Maybe like the time it takes me to torrent something.
Nice.
But when we find out Kira is basically evil, right? Then that's why he has spent 3 years in the military, so that she can join this group of criminals and become evil, right? I'm assuming.
Evil, or she said. I mean, I don't know. She said, you don't know what I did to get here.
But doesn't that negatively affect Han Solo's character as a whole? Like,
like he's disappointed?
Yeah, Han Solo is supposed to be... Solo. Han Solo is this, scruffy sort of anti-hero, mistrust of the rebellion, sort of tainted, still has a heart of gold kind of a character. I feel like, was this the reason why he didn't trust people, was because Kira backstabbed him?
I think partially it was Kira. I think it was also Beckett. Although he felt like he knew Beckett was going to backstab him anyways. Remember, that's how come he managed to make the plan.
And that's why he shot first.
Another because he knew.
Stupid reference, by the way.
Look, there's always been a problem. He did shoot first. Han shot first.
Yeah. And what's the problem? What's the problem? It's okay if he shot first.
No, George took it away. George redid the thing, and all of a sudden Han doesn't shoot first anymore.
Yeah, he tried to make Guido the bad guy, right?
Right. So that what they did is they were basically reinstating, saying, yes, Han Solo shot first.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, was Kira evil? I don't think Kira is evil. I think Kira is trying to take care of Kira. And the last time Han Solo tried to take care of Kira, she got captured and tortured, probably, I'm guessing.
I will everything you just said, I will take away from my cons of this movie, and I'll put it in the pro category because that's some intelligent thinking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now this is the part where I think I don't know if everybody that watched this movie is smart enough to take away that from the movie. So I'm not trying to be Disney here, but that seems like there needed to be more information for me to naturally come to that conclusion versus you and I having a conversation about it in order to find that conclusion.
That's fair.
Okay, those are my five things. Now, as a little PS, right, a little postscript here. I want to talk about one more thing, not necessarily that they think we're dumb, but problems in the movie that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I couldn't really fit them into a category. So let's call this the postscript pandering, and for Star Wars.
All right,
for Solo. Number one on this list was the L337 droid. By the way, I love that they made her the elite droid. That's elite. That is elite speak. Elite speak for elite. In nerd terms, if you know nerd, that's elite speak. Anyways, 1337 was the feminist robot, right? All about equality rights. Now, was that? And I'm asking you, I'm asking you, Shane. As Shane, and then I want to know from Mr. Douchman, was that supposed to be a comedy, or was that supposed to be preaching a message?
Shane would say, that's me. I would say that, it was pandering to a potential audience. I think that they were pandering to a youthful audience that kind of likes the idea of somebody fighting for the rights of, that whole idea of fighting for that. That's what I would say.
Okay.
I think I'm trying not to politicize this, guys, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying not to be political about it. But basically, I think they wrote it in there because the youthful movement of today identifies with that sort of behavior.
Right.
That's how I would say it. Mr. Douchman would say that it was just a character. And actually, now that he's fired, he would say, Kathleen Kennedy forced us to write that into the script. Like, she wanted us to have that character, just like she wants us to have a character like that in every one of the Star Wars films. Right.
So, but on that note, when that character died, and I think we were supposed to feel something, but we didn't. Well, what's the deal with the Black Mirror type treatment of taking the robot that's all about equal rights and forcing her into eternal servitude aboard the Millennium Falcon? Right? Well,
yeah, that was funny.
Was that the joke? Because I asked someone the same question. They goes, "Oh, it was just comedy. It was supposed to be comedy relief." I'm like, but it wasn't funny.
No.
It wasn't.
No, it was not.
In no way was it funny.
They were trying to say, basically, this amazing Millennium Falcon that we got in 4, 5, and 6 is partly amazing because of this droid, and they basically download her system, her amazing navigation system into the. They were just trying to make the Millennium Falcon that much more of an amazing. That had nothing to do with being true to the character or forwarding the story. I think they were just trying to make the Millennium Falcon a more awesome, spaceship.
Okay. All right. Okay.
For future generation.
Last thing on my postscript pandering list here. And then I'll let you guys go because I know you're just so tired of all this talk. Darth Maul. Woo. Darth Maul, his existence in this movie. I went back, bro, and the only reference to Darth Maul after, in the movie canon would be some animated show on Disney XD.
Yes.
Bro, I'm a super fan of Star Wars, and I haven't really seen it. You haven't seen it. Yeah. So are they just assuming that everybody watches the animated TV shows? What?
Yeah.
What?
It's Rebels. Yeah, it's Rebels, which is actually pretty popular of the animated series. Rebels is a pretty popular Star Wars one. I haven't watched it because I don't have a lot of time for animation. I just don't have a lot of time for a lot of stuff, so I haven't watched it. But apparently in that story, Darth Maul is brought back. They put robot legs on him, and Obi-Wan fights him again. Okay. So if that's coming in the Obi-Wan, maybe it's coming in the Obi-Wan story. Maybe we're going to see that. But your complaint basically is that they're not taking it from movie canon. Now they're pulling it from these cartoons.
Right. Wait. And bigger complaint. Only because it doesn't make any sense to me. No, it does if you're trying to sell toys. But aside from selling toys, this last shot in the movie makes no sense. When Darth Maul was doing that phone call with Kira, and he decides to raise his lightsaber into frame and then brandish his two-saber lightsaber.
Okay.
Like that was definitely that's pandering to toy makers, right? Like,
well, Douchman, putting on Douchman's face, this is what he would say. There isn't a Star Wars movie where we didn't have a lightsaber in it. This would have been the first one, and we didn't want to have that happen, so we had him. He didn't light it up. You notice we didn't light up the lightsaber. He just showed it. So, but we hadn't had a movie up to this point, and it wouldn't be Star Wars without a lightsaber in it. So there you go.
No, he lights up the lightsaber.
Did he light it up?
Yeah.
He didn't light up the whole cross, though, right?
No, it's just the two-sided. It's not a cross.
Just the two sides, yeah.
He's like
a little bit.
I'll deal with it. Like right now, or are you gonna wait for her to get there first, or?
Well, it was for effect,
are
obviously.
You just gonna keep the lightsaber on for that whole time, or like, what's the plan, Darth?
Well, I will say this. I'll say this. For my point in it was, wow, if they're going to make some more movies, at least it's a story that I don't know anything about, and it would be intriguing to have Obi-Wan fight Darth Maul again. So, since he lost to him before.
I guess.
No, he didn't. He actually beat him. Sorry. He's the one who took down.
Him in half. He won.
It's always the Padawan.
Tell me if it's just me or not, bro, but like, I don't care about Darth Maul.
Well, we said goodbye to Darth Maul so long ago, we kind of just wrote him off.
And I didn't really care about him then either. Like,
they didn't develop him.
They could have developed that character into someone I cared about, but they didn't. So they murdered him really quickly. So am I supposed to care about this person?
No, I think it's a nod to. I mean, they're just trying to tie people into the other movies. You know, I mean, honestly, this was a chance to go, oh, we're going to get people excited about this. We're going to give them an aha. It was all about the ahas. You know, there was a bunch of them they were trying to do here.
It should have been Vader.
Chewie eats people.
It should have been Vader. That's she called.
That would have been interesting. Now, I don't know how much that would have hurt the story, though. Because, you know, when you think about Vader, I mean, he's completely tied into the Empire. Totally.
Right.
And it would have been hard, I think, for them to say, okay, let's add Vader to it. Because how do you explain Vader's like running a side business or something? You
know what they should have done? They should have tied the First Order into it. It should have been Snoke.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Snoke.
That would have been very.
They could have tied the First Order because the First Order was fringe, right? During the Empire stuff, yeah.
Well, it would have been cool. Maybe that's it. Maybe Darth Maul turns into First Order. Then it goes from Darth Maul to Snoke.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's it, guys. We actually weren't planning on spending 40 minutes on this video. It was supposed to be a lot faster. Really?
That's what happens when we start talking.
It was supposed to be like, we even talked about before, like a 15-minute video. Next thing you know, we're at 40 minutes. But that's what we think. We would like to know what you think below. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. And let us know if we missed anything. I know there's a lot of things that you probably had problems with, but let us know if we missed anything as concerning, unnecessary information, bad character development, plot devices, contradictions, all that kind of thing. Let us know below in the comments, and let's have a conversation. Shane?
All right, well, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.